Elizabeth Ide. I am back again for another story. This story, if you hadn't seen the cover, is about Arthur. I don't know if any of you have ever seen the TV show Arthur. It's on PBS Kids. It's something I used to watch all the time when I was a kid, and I absolutely love it. The main story is about Arthur, this little boy right here. He's actually an aardvark, which is a type of animal. And he has a teacher named Mr. Ratburn, and he also has a little pesky sister named DW. So it tells about all of his adventures and his friends that you're going to read about in this story. So this story is called Arthur's Teacher Trouble, and it is written by Marc Brown. The bell rang. The first day of school was over. Kids ran out of every classroom, everyone but room 13, and that was Arthur's classroom. Here the students filed out slowly in alphabetical order. How many of us go down the hallway at Elizabeth Ide in alphabetical order? I know my students used to when I was a teacher, a classroom teacher. See you tomorrow, said their teacher, Mr. Ratburn. He was kind of a strict teacher. I can't believe he gave us homework the first day, said Arthur. I had the rat last year, said Prunella. Boy, do I feel sorry for you. Make one wrong move, warned Binky Barnes, and he puts you on death row. He's really a vampire with magical powers, said Chris. So they're kind of getting through Arthur and all of his friends' heads that Mr. Ratburn is a really mean guy. So this is already making Arthur think, what about his teacher? How would that make you feel if that was your teacher? As everyone was leaving, the principal came out of his office. Are you ready for the September spellathon? He asked. Yes, cheered the crowd. Who's going to win this year? Asked the principal. Me, everyone shouted. If I win again this year, do I get my name on the trophy twice? Asked Prunella. Not if I can help it, whispered Francine. Francine was one of Arthur's really good friends. Prunella is this little girl right here, and she is very smart. And she's kind of a know-it-all. When Arthur got home, he slammed the back door. How was school? Mother asked. I got the strictest teacher in the whole world, grumbled Arthur. Have a chocolate chip cookie, said Mother. Don't have time, said Arthur. I have tons of housework. I'll eat Arthur's, said DW. I don't have any homework. You don't even go to school, said Arthur. I know, DW smiled. She's quite young. She's not even in kindergarten right now. In this book, she's about 3 or 4 years old. After dinner, Arthur was still doing homework. What's that? Asked DW. It's a map of Africa, said Arthur. Looks like a pepperoni pizza, said DW. Next year, when I'm in kindergarten, I won't have any homework. Miss Meeker never gives it. Mom, called Arthur. DW's being a pest. What does it mean if your younger brother or sister is being a pest to you? What does that mean? If you're the younger sibling, your younger brother or sister, I'm sure you've probably been a pest before to your older brother and sister. I know I have. Time for bed, said Mother. You can finish your map of Florida in the morning. Africa, said Arthur. The next day, Mr. Ratburn announced a spelling test for Friday. I want you to study very hard, he said. The test will have 100 words. Buster looked pale. Buster is this little bunny right here. And, continued Mr. Ratburn, the 2 students with the highest scores will represent our class at the all-school spellathon. Do you think Elizabeth Ide should have a spellathon where you go in front of the whole entire school and only a select amount of students get to try to spell words, and then we have a champion, whoever gets to spell all the words correctly at the end? That'd be pretty cool. That week, everyone in Arthur's class studied harder than ever. Arthur spent a lot of time looking for quiet places to study. He has a really cool treehouse, but DW always seems to find her way up there. This is Francine, Brain, Buster, and Muffy. Those are Arthur's really good friends that you're going to hear about. Suddenly it was Friday, and time for the test. Arthur could smell Miss Sweetwater's class making popcorn. He could hear Mrs. Fink's class leaving for a trip to the aquarium. "Why did we get stuck with the rat?" he whispered to Francine. Mr. Ratburn does not look happy that they're going on a field trip. Mr. Ratburn corrected their papers during lunch. "Class," he said, "most of you did very well on the test, but only 2 of you spelled every word correctly." Muffy smiled. Francine hiccuped. Buster patted his good luck charm. Mr. Ratburn cleared his throat. "Our class representatives for the spellathon will be the Brain and Arthur." "There must be some mistake," said Muffy. Now look at Arthur's face. He is in shock. He did not think he did that well, and I don't know if he wants to do that well. Mr. Ratburn gave Arthur and the Brain each a special list of words. "Just study these and you'll be ready for the spellathon in 2 weeks," he said. Arthur's family helped him study. Grandma asked Arthur his spelling words. "How about your CHORES?" Father asked. "Have you made your BED?" Mother added. DW helped too. When Francine and Buster came over, DW answered the door. "Arthur can't play, but I can," she said. "I don't have to study." So Arthur was spending a lot of time studying, and everyone in his family was helping, even DW. She decided to play with his friends. "I can't believe the spellathon is finally here," said Grandma. "Maybe now we'll get a little peace and quiet," DW said. "Good luck, Arthur," said Mother and Father. From backstage, Arthur could hear the whole school out in the auditorium. "Well, today is the big day," said Mr. Ratburn. "How do you feel?" "I feel fine," the Brain answered. Arthur gulped. "I wish I were still back in bed." And look at it, even at the very end, Arthur is still trying to study. What's your prediction? Who do you think will do better? Do you think it'll be the Brain or Arthur? Do you think Arthur will get scared? Do you think he'll have confidence and be brave in front of the whole auditorium of kids? The principal welcomed everyone and explained the rules. The Brain had the first turn. He stepped up to the microphone. "The first word is fear," said the principal. "FERE," said the Brain, a little too quickly. "I'm sorry," said the principal. "That's not correct." "Are you sure?" asked the Brain. "What dictionary are you using?" So this type of fear is FEAR, and it's fear like you're scared of something. The Brain wasn't the only one to drop out quickly. The representatives from Miss Sweetwater's and Mrs. Fink's class were gone in a flash. Before long, only Arthur and Prunella were left. Now, if you remember from the beginning of the story, who won last year's spellathon? Prunella did, so I wonder if she'll win again this year. It was Prunella's turn. "The word is preparation," said the principal. Prunella looked down at her feet. "Could I have the definition, please?" she asked. After a moment, "Preparation," the principal repeated. "The process of getting ready." So you're preparing yourself every morning when you went to school. Even when you are doing remote learning, you're preparing yourself every day to get ready for your day with your materials. That's preparation. "Of course," said Prunella. PREP. She paused. Now, how many of you know how to spell preparation? ERATION. "I'm sorry, that is incorrect," said the principal. "Now Arthur gets a chance to spell it." Now, if Arthur spells this correctly, he's going to win. If he doesn't, then it's going to go back to Prunella and she has to spell another word. Arthur looked out over the audience and took a deep breath. Preparation, he said. Preparation. Correct, said the principal. Everyone in Mr. Ratburn's class cheered. So what just happened? Did Arthur prepare well for his spelling bee, spellathon? Then Mr. Ratburn went to the microphone. I'm very proud of Arthur, he said. In fact, I'm proud of my whole class. They worked very hard. This is the last third grade I'll have in the spellathon, but next year I look forward to a new challenge. What do you think his new challenge is going to be next year if this is his last third grade spellathon and Arthur has him? What grade do you think he's going to move to? Is he going to retire? Teaching kindergarten. Oh no, who's worried about Mr. Ratburn teaching kindergarten? That was DW on the last page because she's going to be going into what grade level? Kindergarten. So think about how she's going to feel now that she's got Mr. Ratburn, who is a pretty intense teacher. Okay? Think about sometimes when you've been a little scared of something that your teachers asked you to do, but you decided to have a good growth mindset. You decided to look fear in the face and be brave, and really whatever they asked you to do, you were able to do it and succeed. So think about a time that you were feeling like you were in trouble and how you were able to accomplish it.